In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on January 25th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Indiana Pacers versus San Antonio Spurs. We have an exciting interconference matchup between two teams striving to solidify their positions in their respective playoff races. This contest takes place overseas as the Indiana Pacers face off against the San Antonio Spurs on Saturday afternoon in the second game of the NBA Paris games. Earlier this week, on Thursday, these two teams went head-to-head in the opening game of the series, where the Spurs delivered a dominant 140-110 victory. Despite entering as 2.5-point underdogs, San Antonio prevailed in impressive fashion. Historically, the Spurs lead the all-time regular season series against the Pacers with a 59-44 advantage, including wins in their last 2 encounters. The pressing question now is whether San Antonio will secure a clean sweep of this 2-game set between former rivals, or if the Pacers can rally to earn a split. Thursday's game showcased San Antonio's commanding performance, particularly in the second half, where they dismantled Indiana's defense with ease. Victor Wembanyama put on a stellar show for the enthusiastic French crowd, demonstrating why the Pacers struggled to find an effective strategy to counter him. Fortunately, both teams come into Saturday's game healthy, a refreshing change from the usual midseason injury concerns. Indiana's defensive frailties were glaring in Thursday's matchup, and while it's unlikely the Spurs replicate their remarkable 60% shooting from the field, they possess enough offensive weapons to remain a serious threat. Before Thursday's game, the Pacers were riding a strong wave of momentum and entered as the team in better recent form. However, their performance in the third quarter proved disastrous, paving the way for their blowout loss. They are now seeking redemption after such a humiliating defeat. Conversely, the Spurs hold a significant edge with the Paris crowd firmly in their corner, creating an undeniable home court advantage. Even though it's only one game, the loss is concerning for the Pacers, who remain 8-2 straight up and against the spread over their last 10 outings. Allowing 140 points in regulation, however, raises major questions about their defense. Just as it seemed Indiana was turning a corner, they allowed an astonishing 60% shooting from the field. The Spurs, bolstered by their popularity in France and Wembanyama's electrifying 30-point triple-double in the first game, enter the rematch with confidence. While the Pacers are expected to come out with more intensity, it's difficult to overlook the dominant performance San Antonio delivered on Thursday. So the San Antonio Spurs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have trended slightly toward hitting the over in games this season. In their 42 games, the Pacers have gone 23-19 to the over, while the Spurs hold a 23-19-2 record in relation to the over across 44 games. Indiana has alternated between overs and unders in their last 4 contests, whereas San Antonio has recorded 5 consecutive overs heading into Saturday's game. The Spurs have been averaging an impressive 120 points per game over their last 5 outings, while the Pacers have given up an average of 112 points per game in the same span. Thursday's matchup saw these teams combine for 250 points, well above the projected total of 229.5 set by oddsmakers. Although the books have adjusted the total for Saturday's game, the increase still doesn't fully account for the potential scoring output. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Denver Nuggets versus Minnesota Timberwolves. This weekend, fans will witness an exciting matchup between two Northwest Division rivals vying to solidify their positions in the Western Conference playoff standings. The Denver Nuggets are set to face off against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday afternoon in the land of 10,000 lakes. Denver enters this contest fresh off a victory, having hosted the Sacramento Kings on Thursday night. In that game, they secured a 132-123 win, successfully covering the spread as 7.5 3.5-point favorites. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves are coming off a narrow road victory against the Dallas Mavericks, edging them out 115-114 on Wednesday night. However, Minnesota fell short of covering the line as 3.5-point favorites in that game. Historically, the Nuggets hold a commanding 89-57 edge in the all-time regular season series between these teams. Still, the Timberwolves managed to claim the first meeting this season, earning a 119-116 victory at home on November 1, 2024. Heading into this game, Denver enjoys the benefit of a fully healthy roster, a luxury that Minnesota currently lacks. The Timberwolves are anxiously monitoring the status of Anthony Edwards, who is listed as questionable due to an illness. On top of that, Minnesota is grappling with the loss of Dante DiVincenzo, a key contributor who was averaging 15 points per game and shooting an impressive 41.8% from beyond the arc in January. His absence is a notable blow, as he had been hitting his stride and delivering solid performances before the injury. Denver, on the other hand, has been in exceptional form, riding a 4-game winning streak. They have proven to be strong on the road this season, boasting a 14-8 record away from home, which surpasses Minnesota's even 10-10 record at Target Center. While the Timberwolves have been formidable defensively, their offensive inconsistencies remain a concern. Denver, with its arsenal of offensive weapons, poses a significant threat to any team. If the Nuggets can tighten their defensive efforts even marginally, they should be able to secure their 5th consecutive win. One critical factor to consider in this matchup is the team's contrasting abilities to score in the paint. Denver leads the league in this category, averaging a stellar 58 points in the paint per game. In stark contrast, Minnesota ranks 26th, managing only 43 points per game in the paint. This discrepancy highlights a key advantage for the Nuggets, especially considering their recent offensive form. Over their last 3 games, Denver has averaged a scorching 130 points per game, while Minnesota has put up a more modest 113.5 points per game across their last 4 contests. The Nuggets are firing on all cylinders, benefiting from a fully healthy lineup and steady improvement in team chemistry, particularly with Russell Westbrook contributing effectively. The Timberwolves, by contrast, remain inconsistent, narrowly escaping with a win over a depleted Mavericks squad. The uncertainty surrounding Anthony Edwards only compounds their challenges. Based on the current betting lines and the assumption that Edwards may not play, Denver looks like the more reliable pick. The Nuggets are 8-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games, and Nikola Jokic is delivering some of the finest performances of his career. Denver's recent form suggests they have shifted into a higher gear, making them a team that opponents should approach with caution. Should Edwards sit out, Minnesota's status as underdogs would likely hold, and Denver's momentum makes them a compelling choice to win and cover the spread. So the Denver Nuggets to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Denver has consistently trended toward high-scoring games this season, going over the total in 27 of their 44 games, with 1 game resulting in a push. Minnesota has similarly seen the over hit in 23 of their 44 games so far this year. In recent contests, Denver has surpassed the total in 4 of their last 5 games, averaging a blistering 126 points per game during that stretch, a notable improvement over their already impressive season average. Minnesota, for its part, has gone over the number in 5 of their last 7 games, averaging 116 points per game in that span. When it comes to pace of play, Denver prefers an up-tempo style, ranking 5th in the NBA with 100.6 possessions per game. In contrast, Minnesota ranks 25th, averaging just 97 possessions per game. Despite this difference in tempo, 4 of the last 6 meetings between these teams have exceeded the projected total, including their earlier matchup this season. With Nikola Jokic likely to deliver another standout performance, this game is poised to go over the total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Boston Celtics versus Dallas Mavericks. The Boston Celtics are set to face off against the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday evening at American Airlines Center in a non-conference matchup. The Celtics, currently holding the 2nd spot in the Eastern Conference with a 31-24 record, are looking to bounce back after a 117-96 loss on the road against the Los Angeles Lakers this past Thursday. Meanwhile, the Mavericks stand in 7th place in the Western Conference with a 24-21 record and are riding the momentum of a 121-115 road victory against the Oklahoma City Thunder, also on Thursday. This matchup marks the first of 2 meetings between these teams this season, with the second game scheduled to take place in Boston on February 6th. Boston is carefully monitoring Derek White's status as he remains questionable due to soreness in his left knee. On the other hand, the Mavericks are dealing with significant absences, having ruled out Najee Marshall and Dwight Powell, while Klay Thompson is listed as questionable. Analyzing the net ratings for the season so far reveals a considerable disparity between the teams, with Boston ranked third in the league at an impressive 8.9 net rating, while Dallas holds the 10th spot with a 3.1 net rating. Perimeter defense will be a key factor in this contest, as the Celtics are ranked 6th in the NBA, limiting opponents to a 35% three-point shooting percentage. In contrast, the Mavericks have struggled more in this area, ranking 18th and allowing opponents to shoot 36.1% from beyond the arc. Throughout the season, I have consistently faded the Boston Celtics when presented with large spreads, a strategy that has proven successful given their underwhelming 17-27-1 against the spread record. However, the Mavericks recently secured a victory over the Thunder as double-digit underdogs, showcasing their ability to pull off surprises. Notably, this marks the first time the Celtics and Mavericks will face each other since the NBA Finals, adding an element of revenge to the narrative. Despite this, I am hesitant to place confidence in the Mavericks due to their extensive injury list. Teams can only endure so many missing players before it significantly impacts their performance. While occasional victories can occur under such circumstances, they do not convince me to lean in Dallas' favor. A healthy Celtics team is challenging to compete against under normal conditions, and when their opponent is shorthanded, the gap widens further. Given the injury situation, the Boston Celtics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both teams have excelled at shooting from beyond the arc throughout the season. The Celtics currently rank 14th in the league with a team three-point shooting percentage of 36.3%, while the Mavericks sit slightly higher in 10th place with a 36.8% clip. Furthermore, when examining their effective field goal percentages, Boston ranks 8th in the NBA with a 55.5% mark, closely followed by Dallas in 10th place at 55.2%. These numbers highlight the shooting efficiency and offensive capabilities of both squads. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Miami Heat versus Brooklyn Nets. The Miami Heat, holding a record of 21-22 and currently ranked 9th in the Eastern Conference, are set to compete against the Brooklyn Nets, who sit at 14-31 and occupy the 12th spot in the same conference. This matchup will take place on January 25th at the Barclays Center. The Heat enter this game on a two-game losing streak, most recently suffering a 125-96 defeat on the road to the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday. Meanwhile, the Nets have lost their last 5 games, including a 108-94 home loss to the Phoenix Suns on Wednesday. This contest marks the second of 3 meetings between the teams this season, with the Heat having previously claimed a 110-95 victory at home on December 23rd. The Heat will continue to be without Josh Richardson, while the Nets are dealing with multiple injuries, with both Ben Simmons and D'Angelo Russell listed as questionable for the game. Amid the ongoing drama surrounding Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, the Brooklyn Nets injury-plagued roster remains a key storyline. Despite their struggles, Brooklyn has fared better against the spread, hosting a 23-21-1 record compared to Miami's 18-25 against the spread this season. Defensively, Brooklyn has shown resilience, allowing fewer than 110 points in 3 of their last 4 games, while Miami has managed that feat only once in their last 4 contests. Backing the Brooklyn Nets might not be a popular choice given their lackluster record and lengthy injury report. However, the Miami Heat have a tendency to underperform against weaker opponents, which makes trusting them as heavy favorites challenging. The Heat are just 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games as favorites of 5 or more points, with 2 of those missed covers resulting in outright losses. Furthermore, Miami has lost 5 of their last 6 games and is still dealing with the distractions caused by the Jimmy Butler situation, which can take a toll on a roster largely composed of young players. While the Heat could use a win to gain momentum, their inconsistency makes it difficult to rely on them, even against a struggling team like the Nets, who are currently on a 5-game losing streak. So the Brooklyn Nets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams are among the bottom 10 in the NBA when it comes to scoring offense and will also be missing key scorers for Saturday's game. With Butler out for Miami and several Nets players questionable, scoring opportunities could be limited. The Heat, however, are a strong defensive team, ranking 7th in the league in scoring defense. Both teams also rank low in pace of play, with the Nets at 29th and the Heat at 26th. Offensively, the Nets have been struggling, scoring fewer fewer than 102 points in each of their last 5 games. When these teams last met just before Christmas, they combined for a total of 205 points, reflecting their offensive struggles. For the season, the Heat ranked 17th in offensive rating with a 112, while the Nets sit near the bottom at 26 with a 108.8 rating. All signs point to a low-scoring game with limited shooting success. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.